Alt Rock Radio Now is recorded and produced at Music City Studio in Kelowna, BC. Music City Studio is a recording studio and rehearsal space that also hosts jam nights and runs workshops and courses. Visit musiccitystudio.ca for more details. Touring musicians welcome. Welcome to episode 2 of Alt Rock Radio Now. Thanks for coming back. If you listened to last week's episode, that was sort of our pilot episode. So much like TV shows, we're hoping to just get better and better from the pilot and just be, moving on and just getting more and more awesome each week. So I've got Valaura and Mike with me here again this week, just like last week. And once again, we've got tons of awesome music, some banter, chit chat, all that stuff. So stay tuned. We're going to dive right into a song right away here though. Our first song this week comes from a band out of Boston, but they now live in Los Angeles. They're called Dirty Dishes and they're an alt rock quartet, and this is their song called Blur. Again, that song was called Blur and it came from Dirty Dishes. So I want to throw something out there to you guys. Now, I don't know about you, but most disappointing album that you've ever bought. Now, for me, that category sort of falls on something. For me to buy an album, usually it starts with me liking a song or multiple songs from a band. Now, this happened to me in around 1999, 2000, so I was about 11 or 12, and I bought an album from an English band called Top Loader, and I thought it was going to be awesome. They had this one song called, what the heck was the name of it now? It was called Dancing in the Moonlight. That's right. I should have known that. Dancing in the Moonlight. And that song was just like huge at that time and I loved it. And I didn't know at the time, it's actually a cover song. But I didn't know that then. And I just thought the song was awesome. So I went out, I bought this album with my own money. I remember buying it. I bought it at the grocery store. I was like super stoked, ripping the plastic off it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be an awesome record. Now, the record was called Onka's Big Mocha. Now, I don't actually know what that means. That should have been maybe my first warning sign. Who knows? But the record was pretty bad, in my humble opinion. So it had like that one good song on it, and the rest of them were pretty awful. Like I say, in my opinion, and I haven't listened to it since, but I just remember at the time being so disappointed because I was expecting such big things. So that long ramble over, I'm wondering, what's your like disappointing album like that you just like, oh, why did I buy that one? You bought it because this one track or these two tracks that you just thought the whole thing was going to blow you away, and it didn't. Like, I subsequently, the song Dancing in the Moonlight, I sort of went off it because I'd listened to that record, a few times, were hoping to get into it, and I'd heard that song over and over again, and by the end of it, I was sort of like, you know what? That song sucks too because it's from these guys. I was a bit bitter about it, I guess, in hindsight. But yeah, I want you guys to sort of mull that over, unless you've got one right off the bat that you want to throw out there.
No, let us mull for a couple of minutes.
Think about it, stew on it, and see if you can come up with one of your. And I'm sure you've got one because, I'm sure it's happened to everyone who likes music, who's been out buying records. And it's like, yeah, I'll give that one a go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's get into another song. Our next song comes from a band called Repartee. Now, they're an electro-pop quartet from St. John's, Newfoundland, and the music was described by the Muse as the kind of music that allows you to let loose while dancing without giving an F about how foolish you look. So, sounds like a party, so let's get ready to dance. This song is called Hello, Hello, Hello.
I know
once again, that song was Hello, 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 and it came from Repartee. So, back to our little discussion there. I'm vulnerable. I've thrown what I think out there.
Everyone's going to be Googling it to see what your horrible taste was when you were like 12.
I know, and they're going to be like, why did he buy this in the first place?
Oh, I'm sure that there are more embarrassing music choices for you to come. Stay tuned. Keep listening. There are some really, really bad ones that Vincent has listened to.
I may have one or two skeletons in my closet. Do you guys have an album yet? Have you thought of one?
I can't think of one either off the top of my head, but I think I'm sort of fortunate that I was the youngest of 4 kids. So there was a lot of music kind of just laying around the house, and I would just go through and find albums that I liked. And there was lots of vinyl kicking around and stuff like that too. So for me, I can't think of one. I sort of just had good stuff lying around all over the floor and just picked up and threw an album. So I don't have an album that was like, oh, why did I buy that?
So you're sort of sitting on the fence, Mike, is what you're saying, you know?
Yeah, and no, I think before I would go out an album, it was usually I would hear it somewhere first, and I just knew that I had to have it, right? So I would kind of demo things before I went out and spent my hard-earned money as a kid.
You tested it out. You tried it out first.
Yeah.
Cool. V, do you want to talk about that right now, or do you want to throw your pick out there?
Let's wrap up the crappy albums.
Okay, you got one?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't buy this one based on like a single that I'd heard. I bought it based on the band. I was super, super, super disappointed by "Come Around Sundown" by Kings of Leon.
So was
Kings of Leon's second album. And funnily enough, I was talking about it because I was really, really excited when it came out, and Vince told me not to buy it. This is like 2.5 years ago. And he was like, don't buy it. And I was like, no, well, I don't have it yet, and it's been out for like ages, and I'm just gonna go get it. So I went and I bought it, and I was so crestfallen. And anybody who knows me knows that when I fall in love with an album, it will stay. Like I listen to CDs still. Like I have MP3 players, that's fine. But like one Incubus album has been in my car for the last 4 years, consistently. It's never come out of the car. So that one went in and it came out immediately, and I don't think I've picked it up since. So disappointed.
Yeah, I was disappointed by that one too. That's why I said to you at the time, I was like, don't buy it, because I like the Kings of Leon. They're an awesome band, but that particular album, I think, just following on the tailcoats of the one that was previous, it was just awesome. It blew everyone away. I think it was like, it's that whole sophomore slump, that a lot of band stuff where it's just hard to follow up something that was so amazing. But you have to do it. It's like pulling a Band-Aid a little bit. But there may be people out there that love that record, but just for me, it disappointed me, and then you felt the same way.
Yeah, well, and I mean, to that extent, even Mumford & Sons' latest album, it's not that it's not good. It's really, really good. I guess I just expected more evolution from Mumford & Sons. And I felt like I didn't get that in their newest album. It reads, for me, almost exactly the same as they released a couple of years ago.
That's what's tricky about second albums, though, is because, first of all, you've got the people that came into the sound and love the band, and they're wanting something that's really similar to the first record because they like the band for that sound. And then you've got maybe the hardcore fans who are like, oh, it's not evolved, this sounds a lot similar to the first album. So bands are always in this catch-22 of like, if they change the sound, the fans are like, oh, you've changed, not the same anymore, this is not what I expected from you guys. But then if they don't change, it's the other direction of people being like, hey, you guys have just like made the same record, you just putting the same stuff out. So it's a catch-22. It must be really difficult and really challenging. But I'm a Blink-182 fan, like I mentioned last week, and they've put some stuff out in recent years since they reformed. Like I think Neighborhoods, that got a lot of flack because they used like a lot of synth in it and stuff like that. And there was a lot of Blink fans that were just like, what the hell is this, and weren't happy with it. I liked it personally, but there was a lot of people out there that didn't really like it, so it's tricky. It's not easy for bands.
For sure. Well, my favorite band, Incubus, I would say they're fairly well known for their consistent evolution, and their latest album, If Not Now When, is a lot poppier and a lot less hardcore. Like if you listened to Incubus's Science album compared to If Not Now When, those are completely different bands. They, with the exception of the musicality, there's no relation whatsoever. But I love that. I feel like I've grown with the band.
Cool.
No, I was going to say, when is the last time you guys actually bought a CD? Is that something you...
Good question.
Because I don't remember. It must have been 10 years ago, maybe, for me. I get a lot of stuff given to me here, so I have CDs and stuff kicking around, but I don't buy them.
What? I've not bought as many albums in the last probably year. I think that has more to do with time, but for me, buying an album, and then some people have this ritual of vinyl. I'm kind of lazy. I'm not very good at like keeping care of my record player and stuff. So while I have some vinyl, I just can't be bothered with it. But for me, buying CDs is very ritualistic. So I think probably it's only been like maybe a year since I bought an album. And like a couple of years ago, I went on a massive buying spree and I bought like 20 albums on CD within a 2-month span.
Keeping
the record stores open, eh?
No doubt. I don't actually remember what the last CD I bought. Like, I bought stuff locally from I think the last one, if I'm going off that, would be Windmills, who we had on last week. But, you know, as much as I love the local guys, I won't include that because if we're probably talking like going to the record store.
Yeah, to HMV or whatever, right?
Yeah. So I would say in that respect, probably Blink 182's Neighborhoods, which I just mentioned. That's the last one I can remember. I may have bought one more recent. Right. But that's the last one I can actually remember being like, yeah, I'm going to go buy this, you know, and I'm going to go and buy the actual CD from the store. And then before that, it might have been Death Cab's most recent one. So I don't buy many CDs anymore, that's for sure. Vinyl, though.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Should we get into another song?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
V, do you want to give us your pick?
Yeah, for sure. So this week I want to talk about a band called Rend. They're out of Edmonton, and they're doing some really, really cool things there. They've gained a lot of popularity in Edmonton and in Alberta in the last year. And the track that I'm going to play for you today is called Is It Just Me?
Quietly unaltered, I wanna know what it feels like to not be haunted by your ghost.
was Rend with Is It Just Me?
Cool. So to continue our discussions here, the next question I want to ask you guys is, what was the first record you bought with your own money? Mike, I want to throw this to you first because I feel like it's been me and V going back and forth so far. So let's.
Yeah, with my own money, it was No Effects, Heavy Petting Zoo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good one, man.
Yeah, classic.
That's awesome.
And,
I'm someone who has a huge appreciation for like pop punk, that sort of stuff. That was like my first musical love. I used to be like a huge Sex Pistols fan. I know that's like original punk, but you know, I really got into the pop punk, Blink, Green Day, NoFX, you know, all those guys, right? So I respect your first record choice.
The first one that was ever given to me though was Michael Jackson, Black or White.
Oh man,
So
Really?
I loved Michael Jackson as a kid, and I'm happy to admit that.
cool, man. Can
You
you
know
moonwalk?
I could.
Oh.
I used to do it.
What? I love Michael Jackson. I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I don't care who knows it. He's got good music.
Oh yeah.
What about you, V? What's your first record?
This is so embarrassing. Okay, so I'm pretty certain that the first CD that I ever bought with my own money was the first Backstreet Boys CD.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like super. I grew up in small town rural Alberta, so for me, I didn't even really know that other types of music outside of country music or classic rock existed until the Backstreet Boys, and then I was like, whoa, wait a second, there's other like there's like not extreme guitars and spandex or really tight acid wash jeans. There's like an option.
Your integrity has left the building.
Whatever, we'll get to your embarrassing music eventually. Your embarrassing music still goes on today.
The list is long.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that was the first one that I ever bought, and I think that was with like birthday money. And my dad's a musician, and he tried really hard to get me into like better music. I think when I got my first CD player when I was like 9 or 10 or however old I was, he gave me like a CD case, you know, like one of the big like drawer cases full of CDs. And I remember there being like Bon Jovi was in there. That was like the one CD that I actually listened to out of the ones that he gave me, and like an album that he was on. And there was stuff like Buffy St. Marie in there. And I had like zero appreciation for it when I was like a preteen. So in hindsight, I'm like, oh, I should have tried to be cool sooner. Embarrassed.
Well, on that note, maybe we should get into, we should cleanse ourselves with another song. Mike, what have you got for us?
This one's from Winbourne, Jeff Pike, local guy. He's kind of teamed up with a cello player named Nils Lowen. Have you seen them get out?
I have. I've seen Nils everywhere, actually. I met him for the first time just very, very briefly a few weeks ago. And then since, I've seen him like everywhere, different events. But he's from the States, right?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen him with Windborn?
I haven't. No.
Cool. Well, you're going to get a little treat here. So him and Jeff, actually, they tour like crazy. And they're getting ready to hit the road, I think, for a winter tour. So Jeff just got me to master 2 songs to kind of release, in preparation for hitting the road and getting some new material out there. So this one, I think he just released it. It's called My Love, and here it is.
that you're alive. Breathe in. Can't you feel me on your skin? Can't you feel my love within? When you breathe and fill your lungs, you breathe me in. My love, I gave you eyes, but you won't see. I gave you ears, but you won't hear. I gave you life, but you won't live. Your soul sleeps. My love, breathe life into your bones, sets a fire inside your core. Yet somehow you still don't know that you're alive.
All right, so once again, Mike, do you want to tell us what that song was?
That was Windborn, My Love.
Awesome. So continuing our little discussion here, the first record I ever bought with my own money was a cassette, actually.
Ooh.
Showing my age. A cassette, and it was the song called Breakfast at Tiffany's, and the band was Deep Blue Something, an American band. I don't know if you guys remember that song.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love that song. I remember though I had my own little money, had a few pounds. I can't remember what it cost, but I just remember going to Woolworths, a little store, and then picking up the cassette. And yeah, I don't know how many times I played that, but it must have been a lot. So yeah, I still love that song to this day though. I've got it in my iTunes. So yeah. But speaking of, we've been chatting away here, talking about all sorts of different things. If you're listening out there and you want to get involved in the discussion, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. So just search on Facebook for Alt Rock Radio Now, and our Twitter handle is ARR Now. So search us out, get involved, tell us what your first record was, send us suggestions, all that stuff. What we're going to do now is we're going to get into another tune. Our next song this week comes from a band from Kelowna. They're a psych alt-rock quartet called Fields of Green, and they are really, really awesome. I won't say too much about them right now because you're going to hear how great they are. This song is called Kill It Slow, and go ahead, Mike.
Sudden urge to wander somewhere. You came back with some blistered up feet.
escape from the shoreline into an endless ocean. Your backbone's complete, you're stoned, happy. When the ground left your feet, you came down, fell asleep.
So once again, that song was called Kill It Slow, and it was from Kelowna band Fields of Green. I know that V's got a story about this this song in particular, so V, you've got the floor. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a particularly exciting story, but it's just one of those like, oh yeah, I remember that. So it was at a pub in Kelowna, and Fields of Green were going to play, and I really, really, really love this band, and I love their music, and I'm a really energetic dancer slash headbanger, hair flinger when I'm at shows. But every time I've ever seen Fields of Green play, they're always playing in like a theater setting. So I'm sitting down for the entire show. And this was like the first time I was going to see them in like a pub setting. And I was so excited. So I'm like right up at the front. I'm ready to go. I have like my combat boots on for stability purposes. And they're sound checking. And one of the guys, Kevin, I think it was, he's started like the opening lines for Kill It Slow on the piano. And he's just getting it set up. And it was me and like 3 or 4 of like other like really hardcore Fields of Green fans are standing there. So we end up singing the entire chorus at the top of our lungs, and like and it's just Kevin playing on the piano and us singing along, being like, kill it slow. And it was just one of those really great like music camaraderie moments.
Yeah, I remember I was there, and it was kind of like everybody started doing it then, because that's got such a great refrain. Yeah. And everyone was just into it once it started. It just got bigger and bigger. It was kind of like being at a sports stadium where the chant just gets going. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. when you're the band and you got fans that are singing your music, that's always a pretty good feeling, especially when it's just in sound check too. So.
Yeah, they seem pretty stoked. I love those guys. Kyle's voice, I've said this multiple times now, it's kind of becoming a bit of a thing actually. He might get a restraining order against me, but I love his voice. I just think it's awesome. Like he's just I've said this is exactly what I've said before. I have a crush on his voice. Just the way it sounds, he's got that real gritty quality to it. And I know tons of really awesome talented singers, but if I could pick anyone whose voice I could have, out of my friends, you know, it would be Kyle, just because I'm like, man, every time I hear him sing, I'm just like swoon.
I just had like this visual of you as like Ursula and Kyle as the Little Mermaid, and you like stealing his voice, capturing it in
Whoa.
a shell.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That is really deep.
Also a little bit funny to think of you as like a very large purple octopus woman.
Not that far from the truth. Actually, keeping on the lines of funny, I want to share something with you guys. I was messing around on the internet today, and I found this little tidbit. And, you know, I found it online, so it must be true. I haven't done any... Right?
It has to be.
Yeah. I haven't done any further digging, though, so we'll just have to kind of speculate. But it says, Johnny Cash's estate was approached by an advertising company asking for permission to use Ring of Fire on an ad for hemorrhoid cream. The request was refused. So I don't know if you think it's just a load of old crap, or whether you think it's legit, but I'm glad that they said no, because I'm glad they stayed classy, because that's a good song.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
They probably would have sold a lot of
I know.
just for that reason.
I was going to say, from a marketing standpoint, it's genius.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
pretty good marketing.
I don't think Johnny Cash's estate is hurting at all, but, you know, if it was like the 1 month when they were, and like, you know, they were in like a bit of a slump, or there was like unpaid debts or something, and then they got the rights, like, holy viral marketing campaign. Viral. See what I did there?
I see what you did. Yeah, I remember there was a bar in town that used to have wings. I don't think they still do. Well, they have wings, but I don't think they still have the Johnny Cash wings. But they were called the Johnny Cash wings because they were the hottest wings. And I like hot wings. And this is maybe a bit TMI, but I had them one time. And let's just say, you know, there was no false advertising going on. They lived up to their name. They were definitely the Johnny Cash hot wings. So
Oh my golly.
yeah, so now you know. Maybe I shouldn't have gone there. Maybe we should just get into another song and end this conversation. So our next song this week comes from Tofu Stravinsky. Now, they're a jazzy indie alt rock 5-piece. They're originally from BC, but they recently relocated to Montreal. And they released their most recent EP. It's called Buttermilk, just in February of this year. And they've got music described as... it's been described as, enjoying the music of Tofu Stravinsky is like sipping good red wine from a Coke can. So let's see what we think of this. See if we think it's like sipping good red wine from a Coke can. It's, the song here is called Fighting Surrender. And once again, it's Tofu Stravinsky. once again, that was Tofu Stravinsky, and that song was called Fighting Surrender. So I've mentioned already that I was on the internet a little earlier, and, you know, funny things happen when I'm on the internet. And
Okay.
well, you know, anyway, I found a really awesome quote. I was just messing around on there, and it's from Hunter S. Thompson, so it's already got credibility. And it's a little bit of a long one. It's a few lines, but just bear with me and see what you think of this. It goes, "Music has always been a matter of energy to me, a question of fuel. Sentimental people call it inspiration, but what they really mean is fuel. I have always needed fuel. I am a serious consumer. On some nights, I still believe that a car with the gas needle on empty can run about 50 more miles if you have the right music very loud on the radio." And I just was like, yeah, man, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I could see that happening. You know, I could see that happening when you got the energy just flowing, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there. I don't really have anything constructive to add to it or say about it. I was just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm saying that tonight on the show. So
That's cool. Yeah, I never heard that.
No, it's pretty dope, eh?
It's a good quote. I like it.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into another song, I think. This is our last song this week, and it comes from Hannah Epperson. Now, she's a violin-playing experimental folk loop artist based in Vancouver, and she's pretty damn awesome. So let's listen to this song from her. It's called Obstructive. So once again, that song was from Hannah Epperson, and it was called Obstructive. That's it for episode 2 of Alt Rock Radio Now. Thanks so much for listening. Come back next week for episode 3. In the meantime, you can continue the discussion with us on social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Alt Rock Radio Now. We'd love to hear your suggestions, love to have you involved in our conversations. Just get in touch and we'll connect. My name is Vincent Jones. We'll be back next week for episode 3. Goodbye for now.
Alt Rock Radio Now is brought to you in part by Czek Creative. Czek Creative is a Kelowna-based digital agency that delivers results across Canada. Learn more at czekcreative.com. That's CSEK creative.com.